Stock buybacks, why they're good for companies, for the U.S. economy, and for you. What to know about them? There's been a lot of controversy. This is Deaver Brown, the publisher of Simply Media. We have 700 original ebooks and audiobooks, and it was suggested to us that we provide a YouTube channel so we can get out our ideas for free, and you can decide whether you would like to reward us by buying some and yourself by learning something. They're inexpensive, but this is a better price. It's free. So let's get down to what's going on with stock buybacks. First, to describe it, and then secondly, to let you know why there's the controversy in our opinion. So, what are they? This means a company, and generally a public company, like a Walmart or a Home Depot or a McDonald's, will buy back their own stock. What does this mean? It means that a company, when it looks to repay shareholders, and it's important to know about the law, not people's opinions of what it is, but the actual law, that the only requirement a company has is to take care of their shareholders. There's no obligation to take care of their employees, their property, or anything else. To the extent citizens believe that's important, there are laws that deal with various issues: Food Drug Administration, hourly wages, proper payment of overtime, proper handling of waste, and all the rest of it. But from a corporate standpoint, even in left-leaning states like New York and California, the law is clear. The only obligation a company has is to its shareholders, and anything else has to be passed by statute, which it is. So cities and towns, counties and states all have different laws which reflect the feeling and attitudes and beliefs of the citizens. A different matter, though. So, in this case, what are stock buybacks? It means when a company earns money and makes profits, and it has to be cash because they have to pay for it, they divide up how they reward their shareholders. Now remember, the biggest shareholders are often union pension funds, government pension funds. So this isn't just for the rich and famous that get all this money. Most of the money actually goes to pension funds, 401s, and so forth. So everybody has an interest in this. Now, what are they again? Okay. A stock buyback is when a company buys back their stock. Now, the federal tax code is such that the company benefits by doing so on a tax-free basis after paying all the taxes to earn that money, and you or whoever owns the stock doesn't have to pay a tax on a stock buyback until you sell your own stock. So this is the way the federal tax code rewards long-term investors. If you're a Warren Buffett type investor, he buys forever. Now, it isn't that he never sells, but he hopes not to sell. So when he buys a Coca-Cola or a Procter & Gamble, he generally buys them for life. And then they don't have to pay the tax, which is good all the way around. Now, so you understand that. What does it mean if to buy back the stock? Well, it's pretty simple. If you think of it as a company having 1,000 shares, if it buys back 5%, that means the remaining 950 shares have a higher percentage of value of the company. It's like less owners. It's pretty simple. So, if they do that, it has an effect. And people say, well, it's not that much. Not in the first year. But the Walton family, for example, that owns Walmart, has gone in 20 years from owning 35% roughly to 53% or majority control, and about 5% in their personal charities. Now, they could keep doing that and they'd own the whole company in about 10 years. They've elected not to do that. But the point of it is, this means that the reward to the shareholders can be very big over a long term. Now, Apple has started that. Obviously, Steve Jobs started by building a company, would never have even thought of doing it. But he made a good choice, it would appear, as CEO, Tim Cook, who inaugurated this program in force. So Apple has bought back about 35% of its stock, which is an enormous amount, which means the remaining stockholders get that benefit and don't have to pay any taxes on their shares until they sell them. It also means that stock buybacks reduce the dividends, because remember, when a company buys back its stock, it effectively cancels it. So that means it never has to pay another dividend. So if the stock pays $1 a year in dividends, it never pays that dollar again. So the remaining stockholders have the benefit of less call upon dividends and in cash. Again, over a period of time, it's a substantial amount of money. So it all seems good. I don't see what's wrong with it, but some people do. And this is what they say, and there's truth to this. The left has a feeling that if companies buy back their stock, they're not investing in other things. Now, the Tim Cooks and the McMillans at Walmart, they believe they have enough money to do so, and I don't know who could know that better, and their boards of directors concur and believe that's true. But the idea is they should be, from that left perspective, be investing in the business. Well, the job of, as we talked at the top of the hour here, is just to take care of the shareholders in this instance. Now, the government can decide to tax higher or lower, but that's a different matter. In this case, they decide to give money out in dividends, but you have to pay taxes on dividends, or stock buyback, which you don't have to pay taxes on. Now, the other benefit here, which is important, which is often missed, and Warren Buffett and Mitt Romney as a venture capitalist both have commented, the great thing about stock buybacks is companies don't go out and buy something stupid. Now, they can buy smart things, but one of the things about stock buybacks is they're buying what they know, their own company. And this is important. Now, from the point of view of the stock market itself, it's important to understand that every dip you've been seeing, this has been happening in recent years, every time there's a dip, the stock buyback boys come in and buy some stock because they've been authorized to do it. Stock buybacks generally are approved for at least a year, often 2 to 5, and they use that money when the stock goes down. It's like on discount. So they buy their own shares at a lower price. That's why the stock market keeps going down out of a certain level of panic. And when it gets down a bit, the stock buybacks boys come in, they buy it, and they get a deal, and the market goes up. The thing that this has been doing in the market has been removing shares from the public market at a quite substantial rate. In 1900, this wasn't even thought of. There wasn't much of a market. But in 2018, $1.5 trillion was taken off the table in public and private buybacks. Now, remember, private companies often buy back from venture capitalists and other people shares, and the public market was about $1 trillion. That's a substantial amount of money, and over time, it's enormous. To put it in perspective, when people are talking about student debt, it is $1.5 trillion in total, and we're talking about a stock buyback of $1.5 trillion in 1 year. So that's what it is. So the point a certain number of people have is these companies should be doing that. Now, if they're not doing that, they think they should pay the workers more. Well, that's an option of the company, and that is not a requirement. But in a good economy, which this has helped, Wages have been going up towards the magical $15 an hour at quite a fast rate. Costco's already there. Walmart's on the way. Target promises to go there, and this is the retail business, which is traditionally a low-paying business. So although the workers aren't getting it directly by edict or command or law, they are getting it in a practical sense. And part of it is companies are doing well, buying back their stock, conserving their resources because they're not paying dividends on stock they've retired. So that's what that is. Now, the final point is there is an issue about people that are worried about companies being too powerful. And this is a valid concern. And the question is, how much is it important or not important? And that's for you to judge. But the point is, there is a valid point here. And to consider that, remember that as companies buy back their shares, there's a tendency for them to be more comfortable on their own. And at the moment, Walmart may well decide to go private, which they can do in 8 to 10 years without borrowing any additional money. Of course, they could borrow the money and do it tomorrow morning. But they have the choice, and Bernie Sanders is planning to go out there, and after you listen to this, he probably has gone to an annual meeting. Well, if they don't want to see Bernie, all they got to do is buy back all the stock, and he's not invited. And that's one reason when Warren Buffett goes to buy a company, he says to them, look, you're not going to have to go and testify in Congress. You're not going to have annual meetings where you get beat up, I mean, rightfully or wrongfully, but you do get to avoid the pain. And that's a question. And the point is, do they miss this opportunity? And there are people that believe that's not a good thing, and there are reasons to believe that's true. So that's what a stock buyback is. In summary, it means that companies buy back what they know, their own company. They take stock off the table so they never pay dividends on them again. They don't invest in things they don't know. Perhaps they shouldn't invest in their own company, but they do it. And that's that. So I hope this has helped you, and I hope you will listen. Our book and ebook is more complete than this, and it discusses stock buybacks in great detail, but not too much, I think. It's about 45 minutes. And you can find it at our customers. Go to simplymedia.com for all of our titles. And we now know who's better than we are, and that's our customers. So we don't sell directly. We sell through the FANG group. That's Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. And at the moment, the ones that are selling it are Amazon, Apple, and Google. So you can buy it there, or Walmart.com, or the other customers of ours listed at simplymedia.com. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back. And I hope this has helped you, and I'm glad it was free for you. Thank you.